Hello, my name is Stuart. Oh, yeah. And my mama says I'm beefy. And people call me Beef Stew.
That's awesome, man. Thanks for being with us here on Wrestling Road Stories. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you like the other members of the OG squad, man. You guys are busy guys. It took us a bit to get together, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. I'm
Yeah.
going to go ahead and take this stuff off here.
Hey, you're totally fine, man. You're good. You're good. All right. So let's get started. We'll get your what would you say is your worst road story?
My worst road story. I would say there was a time it was a car full, probably four or five of us. We got a booking out. I can't remember the name of the the town, but I mean, it was in the backwoods of the backwoods, and it was uh, actually it was up a mountain. It was almost like a movie. You were going slowly, like up the mountain, and then you get to the top of the mountain, and there's like one street light and a church and a gas station, and that was about it for miles and miles. And we had the show was actually good. There was a lot of people there, but that mountain had no lights. The roads were narrow. We could have driven off the side. There was no guardrails up. It was just and it was crazy going there and back, and leaving after the show. We were in total darkness. It was just it was scary. I was driving, and yeah, it was horrifying. I'm glad we're all here to tell the story.
I got you. No, I hear that, man. My wife is from the mountain area up in Waynesville, North Carolina. So
Mm,
I've driven many of those mountains where, yeah, the road is not big enough for two cars,
right.
and there are no guardrails. And so, like in the wintertime when it snows, I'm like, look, we're not going out that way at all. Like I'll fall
Oh,
off the mountain.
yeah, and now I remembered on the way home it rained, so there was that too.
Yeah, that doesn't help, right? Yeah, there's a little
Never.
extra kick there. So
Yeah, I
okay,
don't
yeah,
like
no,
driving. I don't like driving in the rain on regular days, let alone up a windy mountain. I thought I
oh
was going to have to drop a ring into a volcano or something when we got to the top.
yeah, I hear you. That's good stuff. Yeah, no, that's not I mean that's one of those situations where it's more scary of like just what's going on in general, right? Like, are we gonna make it up here?
Uh,
Yeah, it's just if another car comes down, what are we doing, right? Like, how's that gonna work?
yes, or if an animal jumps out, like let's just say for argument's sake, a squirrel jumps out. I'm driving. I couldn't even naturally be startled and crank my. We go off the edge.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah,
a wrap.
no good, no good. All right, so let's get your best road story.
Oh, my best road story. So, I would say my probably the road story I cherish the most is there was one time Lucky Ali, who, of course, and is Saquon Sugars now in NXT. He had a booking in Florida for, I believe, uh, WWN, and he was looking for somebody to help with the drive down. And it was like because we were what, 9 hours from his gig in Florida, so we literally drove that whole day. We went to the show. We were at the show. He wrestled. We got in the car, went right back home. So it was like a 24-hour turnaround. I mean, we were running on fumes, and Lucky fell asleep. and he's half my age, and I'm still. But that's the one I cherish the most. Like he just needed somebody to help him out, and I mean, I known Lucky since he had his first training with George South when High Spots had a school, and just being able to get to spend that time with him, and you know. Bounce ideas off each other and pick his brain. He's such a good young man that you just like being in his presence. And we just had that moment, and that's my favorite road story. I think nothing crazy, just
Yeah.
and now he's on to bigger and better things, like we all knew he would. And I'm just so happy for him, and glad I got to spend that time with him.
No, totally agree, man. Yeah, Lucky is a gem, man. I've been fortunate to talk to him on many occasions and hang out with him a little bit, and
He's
just
so wonderful.
and he's such a character. He's like always on, so it's like you
Yeah.
never know what he's gonna say next.
It's true. Yeah, he's great. He's a good person, and we need more of those in wrestling. Everybody likes to concentrate on the negative, but there's a lot of positive in this business, and there's a lot of. I'm just in the Carolinas alone. You go to a bunch of shows. Just in the Carolinas, I mean Georgia, Florida, the amount of talent is just amazing.
Oh yeah, we are very fortunate. We have a lot of good guys, a lot of good people in general, and yeah, love them all, man. Like we don't have too many bad seeds hanging around us. So
no, we're in the Carolinas, especially. We try and weed them out.
Nice. All right, good deal. So we're gonna jump into some questions here. And the first one is, what's your go-to place to eat when you travel?
Oh, for me, it's Sheets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that age-old argument of Sheets versus Wawa. Like, I am Team Sheets, hashtag Sheets. However, I think we told you in Keith's interview that Sheets stopped putting tater tots in the burritos, which was one of my favorite things. So, yeah, there's that. But we're still Team Sheets, but we're a little skeptical now that who gets rid of tots?
Buddy.
I mean, why would you ever get rid of tots? And Keith and I, when we eat after shows, well, we always get tots. Sometimes we just get tots. We'll have a big heaping pile of tots and just have at it.
I hear you. No, I'm with you on that, man, for sure. So, favorite wrestlers is a two-part question. Who is your first favorite wrestler, and who is your current favorite wrestler?
So my first favorite wrestler was the Macho Man, Randy Savage. He was my guy. He had Elizabeth, he had the girl, he had the look, he was unique, had that voice. I mean, he's number one for me. But a close second is Kurt Hennig. He was just amazing, and I don't think he gets the credit that he's deserved, because I mean, I could watch him wrestle a broomstick. And it would be an amazing match. But yeah, no, Macho Man. And then currently, you're talking active wrestlers.
So when I say currently, it could still even be the Macho Man, right? Like it doesn't have to be an active wrestler, but like, as we grow over time, like, I may have gotten into wrestling due to the first wrestler, but now,
Right.
like, my current guys, I really like this guy. So yeah, you could say the current if you'd like, or an active, or, it could just be someone later than Macho Man.
Yeah, I mean, there was so many wrestlers that I like. I mean, I tribute a lot of them in my matches. I'm a little older, so I grew up watching 80s wrestling, and then 90s wrestling came, and that was wonderful too. Like I love Bret Hart. I use the catapult, which Bret Hart always used. and put my own twist on it with my character. There's just so many guys. I love all the different styles and shapes and yeah. So I mean, currently when I do watch modern wrestling, because I watch a lot of uh, classic wrestling. When I do, uh, I'm probably biased. Probably James Drake, JD Drake. I always love watching him. I love watching him prove people wrong. He used to train at High Spots.
Yeah.
I like Caleb Conley. I love watching him work. He also helped train at High Spots, and they're both good guys. Very helpful. Like with James Drake at training, if you would dare somebody to tell him, like, I can't do that, right? Because like if I was to tell James Drake, I want to do a moonsault, but I don't think I can, he'll make you do a moonsault. Like you're going to do it. He's like, it's almost like a challenge for him. And Caleb's great, and I'm very much looking forward to Saquon Sugars.
Yeah, I agree.
That'll probably be my favorite wrestler.
Hey, I'm with you on that. Yeah, and I've had guys mention like other indie wrestlers as some of their favorites because I mean it makes sense, right? Like it may not be the world's favorite because they may not even know who they are, but when it comes to us, we have a lot of guys that we see and that we that just they haven't made it there yet, and when they do, everyone's gonna understand what we already know, right? Lucky is a perfect example. Like the world isn't ready, and I
know.
Wait. Yeah, I can't wait. They're gonna love them now, but we've loved them first.
Right. Well, that's the thing. It's like, in answering your question with the current wrestlers, like having access to James Drake, Lucky, Caleb, and you see how much they work and how passionate they are about their craft, and then you see them get opportunities. Like, I mean, I just smile from ear to ear just watching them because I know we know the work they put in.
Yeah,
and it's awesome. It's just awesome.
I'm with it. Yeah, and JD is one of my guys, especially like I had mentioned to you guys on Keith's podcast. Like I favor some of the bigger guys. So like when JD reminds me of like a Bam Bam, and I'm like, dude, he's a big guy that can move and he's agile and yeah, I'm with you. Totally.
Yeah, and I love his attitude of proving people wrong. Like his hashtag "Don't let the physique fool you," because I mean he's out here doing hurricanranas and moonsaults and everything else, and I mean, and he's a different body type too. And like you said, like Bam Bam was doing moonsaults, and you're just like, it's amazing, and it's amazing to see him do that too. And the internet likes to be the internet and find fault in people, but I mean he's great. I mean James Drake could be 600 pounds, he'd probably still be moonsaulting.
I believe it. I bet he would. I agree with you, man. So all right, so next question is, who is your favorite person to wrestle? And it could be multiple people, of course, as like some people don't just have one.
Yeah, and I knew this question was coming from Keith, and you had said that nobody ever gives a definitive answer. What did you say, Chance Riser?
Chance Riser holds the record.
I love that kid too. Great kid. Great mind for the business. Respectful kid. A young man, I should say. But. So I said to myself, I'm going to give you an answer.
Awesome.
Because, well, I'm just going to say it. So my favorite person to wrestle is Drew Adler.
Oh, yeah.
So Drew Adler is amazing. So, and I say that to say Drew Adler is my favorite indie wrestler. He is. He's just amazing in there. He's got the personality. He's got the look. I mean, he's got everything. He's breaking down rings. He's helping people out. I had plantar fasciitis, and him and his fiance work in the medical field, and they were treating my plantar fasciitis, and they basically healed me. And I was struggling for a while. I mean, just a great person to wrestle, safe. But I say that to say there's a lot of people that I love wrestling. I do. Just wrestling wise, chemistry is very big.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. And Drew and I have good chemistry, and we go out there and have fun. And
dude, I love that. I think Drew might have been our third or fourth episode that we had, and I was a fan of Drew from the first time I saw him in a PWX show. PWX?
Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, it was PWX. And then like I saw him another time wrestle Kratos Jr. And Kratos literally, like when he grabbed him and tossed him, Drew made it like 3/4 across the ring diagonally, buckle to buckle, and I was like, oh my goodness. And then I see him a lot at PCW, and
he's so athletic.
Yeah. And like you were mentioning, like the medical stuff, like being able to help someone put their body back together or help them strengthen the right muscles to, get them aligned and get them right. I'm like, that's awesome. And that's on top of everything else that he does, right?
Yeah. Just a good person, great wrestler. I mean, I might be a little biased, but I personally think I should be seeing him on my TV every week. I think he's that good.
No, I'm with you. I totally agree. It's very entertaining, and every match that I've seen him in, I've loved it. I'm like, hey, it's a great match. And then he does so well helping the younger squad like elevate who they are.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
he does. He's fantastic.
I'm totally with you on that. All right, so we got 3 questions left. The next one is, do you have a Ricky Morton story?
I don't think I have an individual story. What I'll say about Ricky is he is extremely generous in this business. He'll hold court backstage, and if you don't sit down and listen, I mean, I don't know what you're doing with your life, because he will hold court and he will give advice and talk wrestling, and he's nice to everybody. He's another gem in this business. He's just great. I don't have a crazy Ricky Morton story. He's so funny, and some of the things I probably can't repeat, but he's just such a funny guy, and he just gives back.
Yeah.
And he just wants to see, he's that guy that wants to see wrestling better than when he was wrestling. Wants to leave it in a good place, and I respect that, because and he's been to the mountaintop, and not everybody would do that. And I really respect that about him.
Yeah, no, I totally understand what you're saying. I think I see Ricky probably at least 6 to 7 times a year. Here in the Carolinas, we get a lot of Ricky, which is amazing.
Yeah, we can never have enough.
No, you are correct. And anytime he's ever talked a story or just said anything while we're just in a circle, I'm just like, yep, I'm not moving. I don't care if I have to go to the bathroom. I'm gonna wait. Right.
Same with Robert too. Robert, he's another one.
He's so funny.
Yeah, and Ricky's more of the talker and will hold court, and Robert will teach you, different holds or counters. He'll be like, okay, kid, put your arm on my shoulder. And as soon as the hand touches the shoulder, he wraps them up in a pretzel, and it doesn't matter if the guy's 350 pounds and built like a refrigerator, and this will work every time. So yeah, they're both just very generous.
Oh yeah.
And we're lucky to have them. That's for sure.
I agree. All right. So next guy, George South. Do you have a George South story?
Oh, who doesn't, right?
Yeah.
Because when I started training again, I started back up with George, and George is a gem. Have you ever been to a George training?
I have not,
Or
but I will be eventually attending one soon, or not soon, I should say, soon-ish, with my son learning amateur wrestling. George is one of the top guys on my list of, hey, George, can I pay you to teach my kid the ropes? So definitely think that going through a George training is a smart thing to do. So
yes, it's. I really enjoy his training. George is a no nonsense guy. He also wants to leave wrestling better than he found it, and you know, everybody's got a George South impersonation. Mine's somewhere in the middle, but uh, he just wants to leave it better than he found it, and not be a goof. Okay, you know, don't embarrass me. So,
yeah, I totally
so,
agree, man. Yeah, that's the reason why we ask the Ricky and George questions is because those guys are national treasures, man.
mm,
We get a lot of them, and they've traveled so much that almost any indie wrestler within a current time frame should know who they are and have touched base with them in some sort. So, or I
mm.
feel like they should anyway.
I have a cool George story, actually. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
I got George stories for days. Uh, so one time we were at George will do little wrestling shows, like he'll go to the Speedway, things like that, or he'll have church shows. And he had one at the Speedway, which happened to be his congregation was there. They're racing fans too, and George has a little event, and I was wrestling somebody, and uh, we had a nice little match for the crowd, and George comes up to me after, and he's like, he calls me Bruce Lee. George has a nickname for everybody. It just so happened when I first started training with George, I had a Bruce Lee shirt on. So I was Bruce Lee. I'll take it. But he comes up to me. He's like, hey, buddy, that was a good little match there. But why are you doing the atomic drop? You're not supposed to hit people in the nuts. They're from church. We don't do that, okay? But a good match, good match. So, but that's George. He'll always find George isn't the type to blow smoke up your butt at all. He's not. If anything, and he'll give you praise, but he's going to find what he needs to tweak to make you better, as good teachers do. And I'm very grateful for George too. He's helped me and so many people, and he's another way. I've watched it. It gets people to believe in themselves. Like when I first went to George, I was 270 pounds, out of shape. Uh, yeah, he's no nonsense, and he's just wonderful.
No, that's awesome, man. Yeah, no, yeah. I definitely that's one guy that I took to really quick because I mean, considering like especially when he does his heel character and he's really heel.
Mm,
And then afterwards he just turns it off and he's just such a nice human being.
yeah,
And yeah, just
and he loves wrestling. He loves it.
I make it a point that I can see George easily. Like in a week, I've seen George 4 times, just going to matches. And be like, hey, look, George is here too. And I don't care if I saw him yesterday. I'm gonna walk up to George and say hi,
Sure.
and talk to him because he's George and he's just so awesome like that.
And
So
you never know what'll come out of George's mouth either, which is, I mean, fantastic.
oh yeah, his stories are over the top and they're just so great. It's like almost every time he's gonna tell a story, I just want to be around a campfire with a beer. Like
Yeah. Oh,
George
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I remember, traveling with George and going to his shows and stuff, and we would go to lunch, and yeah, he would tell us stories about, you know, Andre the Giant, or I mean, it's just, and me being a little bit older, right? Um, George and stories about those guys, and even like when I see these guys at shows, like Ricky Morton, like that. There's a 12-year-old. I'm still a 12-year-old. I've barely matured, but to see those guys, it's like, oh my god, there's Ricky Morton. Like, to me, the younger guys are very respectful and they get it, but you know,
Oh yeah,
that's Ricky Morton.
I'm
That's
totally with you. Like I was starstruck, and I'm still starstruck
right.
every time I see them. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I was at a show and Mick Foley, he said, "Hello, Stuart," and was like, "You know my name, like Mick Foley." So I went, yeah, I'm just a big kid,
Yeah.
uh, and the fact that I'm still able to do this and meet uh, my heroes from back in the day, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's
Really
everything.
is.
I'm with you on that, bud. All right. So last question is, if you could only watch one wrestling match for the rest of your life, what match would that be?
Ooh, for the one match for the rest of my life. Whew. I would have to go either Bret Hart and Kurt Hennig from, was it SummerSlam 91? And then King of the Ring 93. Those are two of my favorite matches. Probably the first one. Macho Man Steamboat's always awesome. I know that's always near the top of the list. But probably Bret Hart, Kurt Hennig. That's
Okay.
just awesome storytelling, and
Yeah.
I love the way Kurt sells. I mean, I don't think there's been a better seller in the business.
Yeah. Those two guys are so technical in their wrestling too.
And entertaining.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, crazy entertaining for sure. Like I mean, I remember watching that. I'm gonna have to rewatch that match though, because yeah, now is like, as an older guy, just like you are, we can appreciate it on a different light. We were a lot younger back then when that match was going on. So I watched it for the entertainment value, or now if I watch it, it's more for like how amazing they are as workers. Yeah. So
Yeah, and I always liked the character work and the storytelling. Like, I was in it for the stories, to be
yeah.
honest with you. Back in the day, not even so much the wrestling. It was just following the stories and the drama and everything else, and the character work and the over the top characters, and my character's over the top.
Yeah.
My character is kind of like a 80s style character, but yeah, it's just
Yeah, I'm with you, man. No, that's a good one. Definitely. I'm gonna add that to the list to watch. I got my buddy of mine that used to do this with me, Angel. She's fairly new to wrestling, and she usually takes these recommendation matches because there's so much wrestling, right? So
so
anyone
much,
who
and it's
says this
wonderful.
is the one, yeah, and which is great. I love that we have all the wrestling we have. But she'll be like, if someone says this match is the match they would watch forever, she's like, I need to watch that match. So I'll definitely be sending her that recommendation for sure.
Please do.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So to wrap up, let's just let everyone know what social media you're on. And then, like I said, I'll post all your social tags on here so that way they can find you.
Yeah, so I can be found on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you just search Stuart Snodgrass, I should come up. And then also the other guys' tag team is on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Yeah.
Keith Mack and I, we post on there too. And yeah, I think those are the only ones that I'm on.
And you guys have the other guys have a YouTube channel, right?
Oh yeah,
sure.
So yeah. We will post matches and promos and all different sorts of content. We're actually trying to come up with some content ourselves,
Nice.
non-wrestling content, like something silly, like you would send in a weird food combination that you like, and then we would try it and react because,
Nice.
I mean, Keith. Keith can tell a story with just his face, and I'd like to think that I can too. So if
Now,
we did reaction videos,
are you gonna do that in character, or are you gonna do that as yourself? Because I think Stuart's reactions would be amazing to something like that.
yeah, we haven't got that far, but I think we might do that in character. Just to see, like a weird food combination I like is like peanut butter and pickles. The
Yeah.
thought of it horrifies Keith. So,
Dude, Keith has to try that. I would agree with you. So
yeah, we might do that in character. I think that would be a fun thing.
Definitely, man. I look forward to stuff like that. And yeah, and I still think the idea of you guys like just turning a camera on when you're on the road, and then let Keith use his skills to cut that down. You guys could probably get a good couple clips, or even if you only just clipped out segments and did like little like almost like TikTok shorts, right? Like a 45-second. Here's an incident that happened during this. I think that would be great, man. Like,
we laugh the whole time. It doesn't matter if the venue's 30 minutes, 2 hours, 6. We're just laughing the whole time and bouncing ideas off and talking wrestling and life. I'm very grateful for Keith too. Actually, during COVID, I was actually considering hanging him up, and Keith was the one who was like, at least let's give this tag team a run. If it doesn't work out, happy trails, but at least let's give it a whirl. And I'm so happy that he did, because we're having a blast. And our thing is, we want everybody to have fun. I think sometimes the fun's taken out of wrestling and everybody wants their serious, which has its place, of course, as a lot of things do in wrestling, but we're just out there having fun. I mean,
it's a party every time.
Yeah, we're just grateful to get to the next booking, and we get there and we're just happy and want to share that with everybody else. And I think the crowd responds to that, and they go to have fun too. You want to see your hard hitting matches. You want to see your big guys. Like, we're just the fun part of the show.
No, I totally agree, man. Like I was going to tell you, like I saw the clips of you guys and Caitlin from last week, and I was like, that was so great, because Caitlin's amazing, and like you guys, everybody dancing together and partying.
Another one who Caitlin Marie put in hard work. Yeah. She's lost over 100 pounds. Keith's lost 30. I've lost 40. And you see all these wrestlers around the Carolinas improve their bodies, and they already were charismatic.
Yeah.
So now the charismatic character people are becoming body guys too, So,
yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm with you, brother. Like, I think it's great. Like, as you guys keep getting better and like, getting stronger, it just gives you guys a greater moveset. It gives you guys the ability to, work a little easier. There's so many benefits. So like, and Caitlin's killing it, man.
She's awesome. She's really funny. I had the opportunity to spend some time with her in a car too. We carpooled for a booking, and she's hilarious. I don't know if you've had a chance to sit down and talk with her, and you should definitely get her on this.
Oh, I do plan on it. We talked about it at WrestleCade last year, and
good, because she's awesome. We loved working with her and dancing, and we just had so much fun. She's really cool.
Oh yeah. Definitely, easily became one of my favorite people upon meeting her, because she was just so nice, and like, she doesn't snub anybody, right? If you're walking past her and she's had interactions with you before, she's gonna call you out. And I'm like, definitely, like, So
she's a great shooter, which I love that in people. Like, don't sugarcoat anything.
Correct. Yeah, like we were saying with George. Like, George is gonna tell you how it is, and that's how you need it. So
yeah.
Awesome. Well, Stuart, I really appreciate your time today, bud. I am going to get this edited down, and we'll take care of you. And
You want me to say goodbye, Stuart?
yeah, go for it, man. Let's go.
Thank you, Danny, for having me. This is so much fun. I wish you good luck in the future, my friend.
I appreciate it, Stuart. Thank you very much, man. You have a great day, and we'll be in touch. I look forward to seeing you wrestle soon.
Thank you. I'm going to go get a pedicure with my mama now.
Awesome. All right, buddy. Have a
Take
good one.
care.
Yep.